Hi guys, my name is Fred. I'm a pilot from Austria and I want to show you my bird dog which I bought about 2 months ago from Switzerland from Heiner Bernhard. Thanks Heiner. I love this plane and I want to give you some fundamental tips how to fly and how to land the bird dog. What I want to tell you is that I am not an expert. I up to now have about 200 landings with this plane, and even with Taildraggers about 300 landings. But I want to tell you tips from the point of a beginner. Many experts, of course, they know how to fly a bird dog. When you have 2,000, 1,000 or more hours on this plane, of course you know how to land it. But I want to tell you what were the difference to my education which I had when making the private pilot license to a Taildragger and especially to the bird dog. I learned flying with a Diamond Aircraft Katana Delta Victor 20. They are easy to fly, easy to land. When you have a touchdown during your landing, the landing is finished. That's it. Yeah. Keep the course a little bit with the rudder and that's it. Yeah. When you fly a Taildragger, forget it. Everything is different. When you land a Taildragger, my learning with Taildraggers was with a Piper Super Cub. I made about 80 landings with the Piper Super Cub with gusty crosswind, no crosswind, headwind and so on. And I love this plane. The Piper Super Cub is easy to fly, like the bird dog. It's great. You have enough power with the Super Cub to get up short and even to come in with the full flaps. And I thought when I can fly the Super Cub and I feel comfortable with the Super Cub, I can fly the bird dog easy. It's the same. No, it's not. And I want to tell you something about the difference between Super Cub and bird dog and especially Taildraggers at all. My father was a pilot by the Austrian Air Force for more than 30 years. He flew the Cessna L19 O-1 Bird dog. He has got about 3,500 hours on the bird dogs with no accidents. For me, he is one of the best pilots on the bird dog. Wherever I go in Austria, they say, hey Fred, your father with the bird dog, he's a genius. And thanks Dad for showing me how to fly a bird dog, how to land and how to work with the bird dog. Without you, I think it wouldn't be that much easy. And it's not easy at all. I'm a member of the International Bird Dog Association. I have many contacts with, and I really communicate a lot with Jim Mulvihill. The International Bird Dog Association, if you own a bird dog or if you want to buy a bird dog, please contact them. They are great. They have everything. They have tips, they have the experience you need, and they give you tips, and please take care and try to do that what those people are telling you. Not everybody has got a dad like I have with that much experience on the bird dog. And the major thing I want to tell you now is how to land this bird dog. I don't want to tell you how to fly this plane. It's easy to fly. It's really absolutely easy to fly. If you do nothing, it flies best. But when you're landing, I've got a landing field here in Austria, a private landing field with 210 meters. And with 210 meters, I always have to come in with flaps 45, minimum 40. I have to sit in the first quarter of the landing field, otherwise I have to add throttle for a go-around. But if you have a normal landing, let's say you have a normal landing on grass, I will talk about later how you land on concrete. But when you take a grass landing field, come in with flaps 30 for the first time, maximum flaps 40 if you have no crosswind. And try to get a feeling for the plane. You come in, it's easy to control, but the difference is you really have to work. I start flying with the Delta Victor 20 with the Katana. You just make a little movements, that's all, and the plane reacts and that's it. With the bird dog you have to work. You really have to work with the rudder, with the stick and everything. You have to give the plane what it needs. Forget about the movements. If it is necessary to give an aileron like this to keep the plane straight, make it. The plane tells you what it needs and you have to give it. When you are in the landing approach, the main thing, and please never forget this, the main thing is as soon as you have a 3-point touchdown, stick full back. Anytime you're on the ground and you're rolling out, stick full back. The ground loop, which is the main causes for all these damages and the injuries to the pilots, is a ground loop. And the ground loop, from my experience now, I landed it and then said, oh God, I have control, everything is right. And then suddenly when I thought, okay, this was the landing, whoo, the ground loop starts. And it starts very slowly, slowly. It moves to one side, to the right and to the left, and then suddenly, whoop, it comes. But when it breaks out, it's too late. You can do whatever you want, you will not get it back. Stick full back is one thing. The next thing is, when you're landing, keep your heels down. I made several landings with my feet up on the rudders, and then I was a little on the brakes. When you're on the brakes, it can be a disaster. On grass, it's not that bad, but when you land on concrete with your feet on the brakes, you will definitely destroy a bird dog. Keep your heels down, and when you're landing, even during the approach, try to work with the rudder. Try to work with the rudder to align the aircraft with the center line of the runway. Both have to be parallel. If you're not parallel and if you come with an angle about 4 or 5 degrees, you will definitely have problems on the ground, maybe with starting a ground loop. So always try to align the aircraft with the center line to have a good landing. As soon as you're on the ground, you have to work the whole time with the rudder. What I was told from my father, take a point at the end of the runway and concentrate and look at this point straight. You see many accidents with bird dogs. The bird dog pilots, even experienced pilots, they landed, okay, landing is down, there were people standing and celebrating you, what a great plane, what a great landing, and you look and maybe you make like this, and in this second the plane starts to weather vane and goes into a ground loop, and then you have lost. There is no chance to recover a plane from a ground loop. Even, I think my father or Jim or whatever, when the ground loop starts, it's too late. Yeah? When it has got a little movement, of course you can control it, but when it breaks out, it's too late. The next thing is, when the plane gets slower, you have to add more rudder and more ailerons, if possible, if you have crosswind. And I had a lot of situations when I added full rudder to the right, and the plane starts to weather into the left. And then you really get hot, yeah? Because the only thing you can do is to add brakes. Add with full rudder, right brakes. But be careful with adding brakes, take it smoothly, it's easy to overcorrect. And then you will turn in the other direction, yeah? The next thing is when you have a crosswind, a gusty crosswind, or if a crosswind hits you, a gust of crosswind hits you, your plane, the wing will rise up. In this second, you have to give aileron into the wind. And this immediately. If you don't do this, the wing goes up and the plane will weather vane into the wind, and you will have a ground loop. So, what is necessary to get it together? As soon as you're on the ground, make a 3-point landing, which is the best thing for me to land this plane. 3-point landing, as soon as you're on the ground, stick full back, never forget this, stick full back and hold it full back for as long as you're rolling out. The next thing is positive controls with the rudder. You always have to work the whole time when you're on the ground, work with the rudder, keep the plane parallel to the center line of the runway. Focus a point at the back and try to align the plane with the center line of the runway. The next thing is, if the rudder is not enough, add brakes. Add brakes to control your movement. It's much easier to control these movements on grass. Never start flying a bird dog on concrete. It's much easier, difficulter to land on concrete than on grass. Grass, if you make some little mistakes on grass, it's not a disaster, but on concrete it can be. Ailerons. Always positive controls with the ailerons. If a gust of crosswind hits you and the wing rises up, add aileron quickly. If you're landing and during a landing rollout, add your ailerons into the wind, stick into the wind, as you learned it in your private pilot license. The next thing what I do when I'm on the ground and I've got flaps 40, 45 here and I've got crosswind, as soon as I'm on the ground, I remove the flaps. If the flaps are up, the wing and the airplane is not that heavy to keep it straight and when a gust of crosswind hits you. So flaps up when you are on the ground. I think that's the main things, how to land the bird dog, and always work on it. Never forget this point at the end. Look at the end. And when you see a lot of videos, my name on YouTube is Bird Dog Austria, watch my videos, I think you will like it. You will see my head is stuck during the landing, and even when I'm rolling out, my head keeps straight and I'm focusing a point, and if something happens, whoa, you have to do it immediately to correct it. Watch my videos. I've got videos with a flap 60 approach. We are moving down 45 degrees a hill and then landing with crosswind. And there you see a beginning ground loop. And that was my experience that I had now with my father, that I could save the plane from a really beginning ground loop. Watch it, how the plane suddenly turns to the left. And I had to make a huge rudder and aileron movement and with brakes to get this ground loop away from the bird dog. Enjoy your plane. If you have questions, write me. My email address is birddog@gmx.at for Austria. I will